Welcome everyone. Just a quick sound check. So if you can hear us okay, can you please drop a note in the chat tab if you can hear us all right, and we'll start in just a couple of minutes. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to EAL's BSE webinar, where we will be providing some exciting qualification updates and talking about the range of BSE qualifications and support we provide. We are presenting this webinar from home, so please excuse any unwanted background noise or delay in the slides. We will just have our cameras on just to show our faces at the beginning of the webinar, but to avoid distraction, we will switch them off and then turn them on again at the end. Next slide, please, David. The contents of our webinar today will be introductions, then we'll move on to Generation 2 T-levels and apprenticeships. We'll then talk about BSE qualifications we offer, and finally, ongoing support and updates. To engage with this webinar, please use the panel on the side of your screen. You will see a chat tab where we will use to share, links and information, and also a questions tab where you can write your questions. There is a handout section where you can download a copy of the presentation and a Word document containing all the appropriate links. The presentation is likely to take around 25 to 30 minutes, which will leave plenty of time to answer questions at the end. This presentation will be recorded, so please share it with your colleagues. So to introduce the speakers today, you have myself, Kevin Sparrow, Industry and Portfolio Manager for Building Services Engineering at EAL. And I'm delighted to introduce Lead Technical Advisor David Pye. David has a wealth of experience within the BSE and educational sector, as well as Andy Beresford, Technical Advisor, who was formerly an EQA and head of a BSE Centre. So between us, we have a wealth of experience to help you deliver your qualifications successfully. In addition, I wanted to highlight our product specialist team, Jason Marsland, Peter Roberts and Jamie Bryan, who are industry technical experts. Furthermore, we have 9 full-time external quality assurers, so we can provide a very comprehensive support package for you. If you have any questions after the webinar, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Another great way to stay updated is to register on our BSE alert system. There is a link on the slide there, and it's simple to sign up and hear about the latest news and developments within the BSE sector, whether it be about educational reforms, qualification launches, or new apprenticeship standards. This is a great way to stay up to date on qualification and training in your sector. So I'm now going to hand over to David, who will give you an update on the Gen 2 T-levels, and I'll look forward to seeing you further in the webinar. So thank you for listening to me, and over to you, David.
Thank you very much, Kevin, and good afternoon, everyone. So I'll just click on the slide and take you to Gen 2 T-levels. So those who've been along to previous sessions or delivered T-levels, the current T-levels, will know that Gen 1 was a collaboration between Sitting Gills and EAL. However, Gen 2, available from September 2025, is a collaboration between EAL and Educas, except for Gen 2 Construction, which has been retired with no further registrations. We are aware, sorry, just lost my thread there. We are aware of some uncertainty. However, Gen 2 BSE T-levels are being revised and will be and are available and funded from 2025. But please note, any learners registered prior to this date will continue with the existing collaboration. With Gen 2, two pathways have been withdrawn due to low take-up. That's the electrical and electronic equipment engineering and the heating and ventilation. We are working to combine the plumbing and heating as a single occupational specialism, and there will be low carbon heating OS from September 2026. We're currently working with the content to ensure it's current and valid, and we're looking to reduce the duplication where possible. We will produce new sample assessment materials and guides for centres, and these are due soon. So to conclude that short section on T-levels, please note that a draft qualification specification will be released in early 2025, with the finalised publication being released in late spring. T-level registration details for new learners will be via Educas and EAL. Details will be shared in spring 2025. I'll now briefly hand you back to Kevin, who'll take you through the next slide.
Thanks, David. So yeah, just one slide from me. On this slide, I just wanted to highlight that your expertise is crucial for this next generation T-level to ensure the qualification aligns with industry needs. We are looking for centres and employers to join our Qualification Development Advisory Group, or QDAG. We're already working with industry bodies, employers and centres, so the ECA, CIPHE, to name a few, but we need to engage further over the development and lifetime of this qualification. So if you have links to employers or contractors, we would be delighted to hear from you. Or you may even be a contractor yourself, so please do get in touch. Your participation will directly influence the skills and knowledge delivered in your industry and ensure the assessments are rigorous. Time-wise, it's typically 2 to 3 short virtual meetings throughout the year, and you can engage with EAL to review and validate assessments at set points in the year. This will ensure that the assessments reflect the skills and knowledge required for success in the sector. So it's a small investment of time for a significant industry gain. There is a link on the slide to the QDAG form there to register your interest, and we would be delighted to see you register. So thanks again, Dave. Thanks for that, and back to you, David.
Thank you very much. So let's have a look at the latest apprenticeship news. Following engagement with industry and key stakeholders, IFATE have recently given the CIPHE formal approval to develop new Level 2 and Level 3 plumbing apprenticeship standards. Information on these exciting new developments can be found by following the CIPHE press release. The Level 2 will consist of traditional plumbing systems such as hot water, cold water, sanitation, etc. And then this gives the learner several opportunities for progression, the gas route, renewables, a new Level 3 standard, which will include advanced plumbing skills, complex systems and design, and so on. This is now in development, and we will share further updates through our alert system as this progresses. The next stage is for the CIPHE and interested stakeholders to work together developing the standard. Further detail on how to get involved can be found in the press release, and employers can send their expression of interest directly. Please remember to register for our updates for the latest news on this standard. The EAL Level 3 Diploma in Gas Engineering has been specifically designed as a competence component which can be used as evidence in the current gas apprenticeship. The qualification may also be suitable for learners who are interested in gas utilisation or may be considering a career change. I've taken an example from the specification displaying the central heating and maintenance pathway, which shows the gas safe categories CCM1, SEMWAT and MET1. Also worth noting that this pathway includes water regulations and unvented within its unit structure. We also offer the latest electro-technical apprenticeship standard version 1.1 qualification and related experienced worker route, which you may not be currently aware carries or attracts learner funding. The apprenticeship qualification has full teaching and learning resources which are free to access, including PowerPoints and schemes of work. There's a snip of one of those on the slide there. Further information on routes and eligibility of the experienced worker routes in both industrial and domestic can be found on the TESP website. And again, we have linked this here for you to follow up on. We also offer apprenticeship qualifications in fire and security industry, available in England, Wales and Northern Ireland. It has two pathways, one for fire detection and alarm systems and one for security systems. The MVQ also used as a qualification for the experienced workers and is industry recognised for the FESS card by ECS. This is supported further by our range of CPD courses for the industry. So that's a snapshot of some of the apprenticeship and experienced worker news. I'll now pass you on to my colleague Andy to take you through the next few slides. Thanks, Andy.
Hey, good afternoon all. So curriculum planning will be looming on the radar for most of you now, and one of the things that makes curriculum planning easier is to have quick access to all the available qualifications. So to support you, EAL has produced the curriculum planning guide. Again, a link will be in the chat and you've got it on the web on the presentation. So in this document you will find details of the qualification level, the name, the qualification number, and it's updated every year. One of the things that is in there that will be helpful is also guidance on funding and the opportunities for providers to gain funding. As this one is 24-25, the new one is in production and will be out shortly for year 25-26. Please, David. Thank you. So the education reforms have been going on, and with change of government, there's been a lot of changes coming in still. As you can see from the slide, continuous funding has been applied for 2025-26 on our level 2 qualifications in electrical and plumbing, and funding for our level 3 electrical qualifications, including the the experienced worker route. As these changes continue, we will be keeping you informed. Please, David. Thank you. Something we are pleased to announce, 2 brand new qualifications ready for delivery from September 2025. And they are the technical occupation entry qualifications for the 19+ adults. They are level 3 qualifications and have been written to support, or so that the knowledge and behaviours will map into apprenticeships. That way you can align and permit exemption of units if they are lucky enough to progress into the apprenticeship. Funding has already been approved for these from September 25, so are an excellent choice for September's curriculum planning. And again, the advantage of these is they have been approved and were developed as part of the educational reforms to map into apprenticeships. So a link to the specification will be again put in the chat. Another exciting product for the adults coming in from 2025 September is a clone of our electric vehicle charging equipment. This one is exactly the same. It's one exam online, open book, with a guided learning hours of 10. It is again ESFA DFE funded and is industry recognized. If a learner does not, sorry, yeah, go on, David. So in addition to those qualifications, we have an ever expanding suite of green qualifications. And as you can see on the slide, we have solar photovoltaic, electrical energy storage systems, and electric vehicle charging points. These are currently available for skills bootcamp funding, subject to certain requirements. And we are currently updating the energy storage qualification to make it more relevant to the domestic systems, so expect some changes to be announced soon. Okay. To complement these courses, we also have an installation and maintenance of heat pump systems qualification and are working on a new air source heat pump course that will be launched in 2025. The new qualification will be industry recognized and contain content from the Heat Pump Association. But the current course is approved by MCS, and you can see from the snip on the slide the EAL qualifications from the MCS website. Again, we will give you a link to that. We are working very closely with the industry, MCS, and the Heat Pump Association to make sure our new qualifications meet the demands of the learners out there. As I'm sure you're aware, we have numerous short courses out there. A few worth noting: the inspection and testing, wiring regulations, PAT testing, and our level 4 design course. And again, these are all industry recognized. Some that you might be less familiar with: panel wiring, non-domestic fire alarms to BS 5839-1, the DC electrical installations, fire detection and alarm systems in dwellings, and programmable logic controllers. So if you're looking to expand your provision of short courses, these are excellent qualifications for engineers and electricians to undertake CPD in. The fire qualification, the fire detection and alarm awards are great CPD for electricians, and the BS 5839-1 award won qualification of the year in 2019 and has been endorsed by Dame Judith Hackett. So if there are further qualifications you would like us to consider, please use the survey at the end of the presentation to document your feedback, as we are developing further industry relevant awards in 2025. And now I'll pass you back to David to talk about the support that EAL can offer you. Thank you, David.
Thank you very much, Andy. So, as well as the full resources for the Level 3 Electrotechnical qualification, we have brand new resources available for the 18th edition Wiring Regulations courses. These include presentations, learner handouts, schemes of work, etc. These are free for centres delivering EAL qualifications and available through SAP. So please check these out, and if you're struggling to find them, please give us a shout and we'll help you access them. My slides are just delaying a little bit. There we go. So some more exciting news around EAL and what we can offer. We now have digital certificates for all learners. These can be accessed easily and securely at any time. A feature we have is automatic ECS certificate validation prior to Gold Card, which reassures the industry that any EAL qualification presented for a Gold Card is genuine. For Gen 2 T-level updates, visit the Educas website where you can sign up for the mailing list and access all the FAQs. We also have a dedicated BSE LinkedIn group you may join to engage with discussions around BSE education. Please note, there has recently been updated a thorough RPL exemption document created for electrical installation. Again, this is available through SAP, but if you're struggling to locate it, please give us a shout and we'll help you find the document. And finally, coming soon, remote proctoring, which will be especially useful, particularly for shorter CPD style courses, and this is due this year. We aim to expand our qualification resources, particularly as new qualifications become available. And just to note that we are committed to supporting and navigating you through all the key educational changes, including networks, dedicated centre support, such as our BSE drop-ins, our book time with me, which you can find in our signatures. You can just click and book a session with ourselves. We can do Teams calls and face-to-face visits. And please also look out for a new YouTube playlist coming soon, which will have a number of short videos on BSE. So our very final slide shows you how you can remain in touch. The most appropriate method being our alert system, but please also register for our newsletters. We really value your feedback and will be delighted to hear your views on this webinar. BSE education, your thoughts on future courses, so please check out our link and QR code and take a few moments to leave us your feedback. So thank you very much for listening. We're about on time, 20 minutes in or thereabouts. We hope you found that information useful. We can now look through your questions, so now's a good time. If you have any questions or feedback, please use the questions and chat functions. So we may pause just for a few moments whilst we bring up your typed questions, and then hopefully we can start working through answering as many as we can. So just bear with us a moment. Thanks very much. So I'll just open up the questions tab. So yeah, please, anything, any questions at all you've got on education, the changes, could be T-levels, could be new apprenticeships, rules for electrical, rules for the experienced worker routes. We get numerous questions pop up. We've had several more recently, which we can go through as well. But I just see a few popping up as we're here. So is the T-level going to have a clear indication with respect to RPL? I think that's the question. Let me open that up a little bit more. With respect to RPL into apprenticeships, certainly we do have that at the moment for the current Gen 1. There is a exemption document that's available. We can, if people haven't seen that, I don't know where to find that, we can follow up. In our follow-up, we can add the link to it. I'll show you where that is. So yes, what we'll have to do though is, as there's a review of the content, I'm trying to remove duplication and maybe adjust some of the amplification that's within the qualification. There'll have to be a review of that RPL to make sure that it's still covered. We suspect there'll be no change, hopefully. If there is, it'll be minor. But yeah, you can look at the Gen 1 exemption. It's more than likely Gen 2 will be the same. There's a note about the level 2 apprenticeship. Yeah, it's a case of keeping an eye on I-FATE's website for the standard being uploaded. I know that it takes a long time to create some of those standards. They're not easy to create a standard because you've got all the policies you need to meet, the on-program information, the EPA, the rules around that. So it could take some time, so we don't want to overpromise on time. There's a lot of work. It's at the initial stages, if you like, once approval's been given, but hopefully you're aware of what the industry have requested and the direction of travel of the industry. What we can't promise is any time frame on that. So yeah, a question there about the any predicted date. It would really just be a guess, because you know it has to be created, it has to be supported by industry and key stakeholders and submitted to IFA for approval, and then that's reviewed. Any issues are sent back, or any additional support required is sent back. So that can be very timely. So I wouldn't like to guess. I'd be surprised if it was done quickly, because you know most of these standards, a lot of them can take years to create. Hopefully it's not in years, but just to give you an idea of the challenges previous trailblazers and employee groups have had creating that, it could be a long road. Any plans for a domestic ventilation course for electricians fitting fans? That's probably one for Kevin. Kevin, you okay picking that one up?
Yes, thanks, David. Yeah, we're really interested to hear about this. I'm actually keeping a log of interest around this. So I'm thinking part F from memory, ventilation. Yeah, if you can leave, get in contact with us, then I'll be delighted to discuss that further with you. These are the short awards we're really interested in creating for people in the sector. That's from Clint. Thank you, Clint, for that question. Just going back to the plumbing and heating there, David, I see, hi, Jerry. Jerry's made a good point there about the CIP-HE standards. Jerry from the CIP-HE has said, just to clarify, the work on the apprenticeship is for 2 new apprenticeship standards, and the intention is these will replace the existing routes when they are launched together and launched TBC.
Yeah, thanks, Jerry. I can unmute you, Jerry, if you've got a microphone handy and you wanted to describe that. Just drop that into the questions tab if you're able to chat, and we can unmute you and you can maybe elaborate on that point. Okay, I'll just unmute you. It's saying you're self-muted. You may need to unmute yourself as well, Jerry. So if you find your name on the attendee tab on the screen, and there should be a little icon where you can unmute yourself. You're unmuted from our side, but it's showing us muted your side. So we can work through some more questions whilst you figure that out, Jerry. So I see the benefits of T-level. However, most providers delivering BSE electrical are turned away by the core. Will T-levels for electrical 353 continue? I just had to expand my screen to see the rest. Continue. I see useful for HE, but not for 5357 apprentice. Yeah, some colleges have delivered it and like it. You know, the feedback has been good from a few colleges, but that type of feedback you hear quite a lot. And at the moment, providers have got the option because there's funding for the current qualifications as well as T-levels. So yes, the T-level is definitely available this year and funded, and there's been no signs that that will be removed at all. And whilst some centres are still giving positive feedback, I suspect there'll still be a desire to keep funding and offering that. Beyond that, we don't know any more than yourselves, really. And the follow-up question to that is, will the core change? So in terms of the high-level content, learning outcomes, and so on, no, we have no control over that content. That is set and part of the T-level. We do have a small amount of flex in terms of the amplification. So when there's a bit of range, so the example I often give is if it's, you know, use hand tools and there's 10, we can look at that and think, well, if maybe that's too broad, we can maybe reduce that, just as an example, really. So, you know, what you may see is some tidying up, reduction in duplication, that type of thing. But in terms of large scale content change, I'd say no, it's pretty much the same high level content. So Jelly, I don't know if you've, I think you might have figured it out. Click to send a pin. That's no, it's an audio pin sent, it says. So the screen is telling us it sent you a pin. That's a new feature with this webinar. So if we can hear you, feel free to shout out. So it's saying it sent you a pin. So we'll carry on with some more of the questions. It says you've mentioned the resources for 18th edition, and are there any plans to increase resources across other qualifications? Yeah, we're very committed actually. Kevin, Andy and myself have met with various parts of internal teams, and we want to, or there is a desire to grow the BSE portfolio and the resources that support it. So yes, you're pushing on an open door with ourselves. That is certainly our plan. We've had numerous meetings with several stakeholders and people about developing and working with others to make accessible more resources. So yeah, over the next 3 months, 6 months, year, 2 years, hopefully what you'll see over time is that continue to grow until we've got a full amount of support resources, particularly on all our new qualifications. So yes,
and just to add to that, David, I mean, EAL has invested in the resources now. The learning resource team has increased in the number of staff working on it, and if you wanted to check, a lot of the electrical quals have now got resources being added, so that the electrical apprenticeship has got some really good resources on it now. So it's worth having a look just to see, and you can access those through online services in the publications.
Yeah.
Sorry, David.
And just to add to that also, yeah, the learning resource team, they're currently developing, I think from memory, there's 5 CPD awards. So certainly level 2 inspection and testing, initial verification, electric vehicle charging, and potentially something else. So we're always adding to their intro, and this is part of our way we really want to support our centres. And you know, a teaching and learning resource offer is going to be central to new plumbing and heating as well. So yeah, lots of exciting things there on learning and teaching materials.
So just to say that sadly Jay's not been able to, or between us, we've not been able to work out how to turn his microphone on. If there's any other points you want to expand on, Jerry, please type them in and we can update everyone on direct from yourself, or indirect as it were. So there's a query about accessing some of the level 3 resources mentioned earlier. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Andy, these are accessed through SAP?
Yeah, they are in, you go into the qualification and the resources are in there. So it's just going in through online services, which is SAP, where you'd find all the qualification documents. The resources are in there.
Excellent, excellent. And Kevin, did you have some questions yesterday that have come through? Might be worth picking up those points, unless we've covered them already.
I think they've been covered. I think there was one around RPL. I think another question that came up recently was about the technical occupation entry qualifications, but I think you'd covered that, Andy, and that was in relation to those adults who do those plumbing, heating, technical occupation entry quals, or the electrotechnical. They will RPL into the current apprenticeship, so they're a really good way, really good qualification of adults which are fully funded. So I think that was really the only question that came through recently around that. But yeah, I don't have any more, unless there's any more questions in the question panel.
I think we've covered all the questions now. So what I'll probably say is we'll close in a couple of minutes then. So just a final shout out to see if there are any final thoughts or questions. If you do go away and you think, oh, I wish I'd have asked that, or I did have some queries, you can put it on the feedback form. It's a good way for us to capture a lot of your thoughts and wishes and questions. We'll review those in the next couple of days, and we'll be able to work through them and contact you back, or do an FAQ, or make sure we get the information out to you somehow. But whilst we're waiting for any final questions to come through, just really to extend the thanks from earlier from Kevin, Andrew and myself. We do appreciate you taking the time. We know how busy it is in colleges and for providers, and trying to find time to come and listen to us. We appreciate it, and hopefully the content was helpful and useful in the update. And this won't be the final webinar. We do have a follow-up in a month's time. It will be a repeat, but if we've learned anything new in the interim, we'll add some bits to it. Certainly based on the feedback as well. If you provide feedback of where you want some additional information, we can make some tweaks, and we'll continue with our drop-ins. Our Book With Me will create a series of webinars throughout the year where you can drop into any link you like, and we'll be recording numerous short little videos on bits of topics and updates. So again, there's lots of opportunities to engage with us in the future. We're opening up as many communication channels that are suitable for you as we possibly can. Yeah, we've got another update from Dominic. I'm happy to explain that, Dominic. So if anyone's interested in accelerated apprenticeships on the electrotechnical T levels, you can contact Dominic Martinez. So that's dominic.martinez@gatsby.org.uk, and if I respond to that, you should all see access to that email. Thank you for that offer, Dominic. I'll send to all. Excellent. So yeah, there doesn't seem to be any other questions coming in, so there's no point keeping you hanging if we're all if we've got everything answered. We've really enjoyed it, and just to say thanks once again, and enjoy your evening, and we'll close the webinar. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. See you next time.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.